Hello to all viewers. Hello to everyone. I am Shiloh, the last scribe for the house of Jacob. I am a messenger and a true servant of the Almighty. On November 29, 2019, the Almighty will visit the earth to judge every living thing. On that day, every living thing will be given life or death. This video is part 21 of a series of videos titled The Book of Genesis, Unsealed and Untold. These series of videos cover everything in the book of Genesis, from chapter 1 to chapter 50. With all the confusion removed, with all the allegories removed, in these series of videos you will hear the truth according to the Almighty, according to what the Almighty commanded the house of Jacob to keep recorded. So I will start where I last left off. Let's begin video number 21. In the night, in a vision, the Almighty spoke to Jacob, saying, "Jacob?" And Jacob responded, saying, "I am here." Then the Almighty replied, saying, "I am the Almighty, the All-Supreme Being, the All-Supreme Ruler, the Creator of all things. I am the All-Supreme Ruler of your grandfather Abraham and your father Isaac. Do not fear to go into Egypt, because from there I will make you become a great nation. I will go into Egypt with you. Your son Joseph will put his hand upon your face, and you will see him with your own eyes. And I will surely bring you back to the land I have given you." Then Jacob arose and departed away from Beer-sheba. The sons of Jacob carried their father, their little ones, and their wives in the wagons that Pharaoh had sent to carry them. They had their cattle and their goods that they had gotten in the land of Canaan, and Jacob and all his household came into Egypt together. Jacob entered Egypt with his children and his firstborn, Reuben. The sons of Reuben were Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. The sons of Simeon were Yemuel, Yamin. There was Ohad, then Yahim. There was Zohar, then Shaul. Shaul was the son of a Canaanitish woman. The sons of Levi were Gershon, then Kehath, then Merari. The sons of Judah were then Onan. But as a penalty for neglecting wise conduct and good morals, and Onan died prematurely in the land of Canaan. They were put to death by magician warlocks of necromancy. The third son of Judah was Shelah, then Peretz, then Zerach. Peretz and Zerach were twin brothers. The sons of Peretz were Hezron and Hamul. The sons of Issachar were Tola. There was Puah, then Yov, then Shimron. The sons of Zebulun were Sered, then Elon, then Yaklael. The sons of Gad were Zephon. There was Hagi. There was Shuni. There was Esvon, then Eri. There was Erod. There was Eli. The sons of Asher were Yemnah, then Yishva, then Ishvi. There was Beriah, then their sister, Serach. The sons of Beriah were Hever. Hever is the progenitor of the Heberi. There was Malkiel. Now the sons of Joseph were Manasseh and Ephraim. The sons of Benjamin were Balai, then Bakhur, then Ashbel, then Gerah. Naaman was the son of Belai. There was Ahi, then Rosh. then Mapim, then Hapim, and Erd. Dan had one son named Hoshim. The sons of Naphtali were Yakzael, there was Guni, there was Yetzer, there was Shalem. These are all the souls that came with Jacob into the land of Egypt. Now Jacob sent Judah ahead of him to meet Joseph, to direct him to Goshen. And Jacob and all his household came into Goshen. Joseph prepared his chariot, then went to meet his father Jacob in Goshen. Joseph presented himself to his father, then embraced him, and cried on his neck for a long time. Jacob spoke to Joseph, saying, "Because you are alive, and I have seen your face, now I can die." Then Joseph spoke to his brothers, and to every one of his father's household, saying, "I will go up to Pharaoh and make it known. I will declare to him that my brothers and every one of my father's household that were in the land of Canaan have come to me. Then they will publish and announce the report. I will tell him, our men are shepherds, and their trade has been to feed cattle. Therefore they have brought their flocks, their herds, and all that they have. When Pharaoh chooses and invites you to speak to him, he will ask, 'What is your occupation?' And you will say, 'From our youth, even until now, our trade has been about cattle. We, our father, our father's father, and so on. Because every shepherd is an abomination to the Egyptians. You will say this so you can live in the land of Goshen.' Then Joseph spoke to Pharaoh, saying, 'My father, my brothers, my brethren, their flocks, their herds, and all they possess have come out of the land of Canaan. Now they are in the land of Goshen.' Then Joseph chose 5 men out of his brethren and presented them before Pharaoh. And Pharaoh spoke to them, asking, 'What is your occupation?' They responded, saying, 'We are shepherds. So is our father, so was our father's father, and so on.' For the food and corn that was being bought, Joseph gathered up all the money that was to be found in the land of Egypt, and also in the land of Canaan. Then Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house. When the money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians and Canaanites came to Joseph. They spoke to Joseph, saying, 'The money has failed. Give us food and bread. Why should we die in your presence?' And Joseph spoke to them, saying, 'If your money has failed, give me your cattle, and I will give you food and bread.' So they brought their cattle to Joseph, and Joseph gave them food and bread in exchange for their horses, their flocks, their asses, and their herds of cattle. That year, Joseph fed them with food and bread for all their cattle. When that year ended, they came to Joseph the second year. They spoke to him, saying, 'How our money was spent, we cannot hide it from the Lord of the land. The Lord of the land has our herds of cattle. Now in the sight of the Lord of the land, there is nothing left to give, except our bodies and our lands. Therefore, will we die before your eyes, both us and our land? For food and bread buy us, then we and our land will be servants to Pharaoh. Give us seed to sow in the ground so we can live and not die, so the land is not empty.' So Joseph bought all their land for Egypt. Then these persons sold their fields because the famine triumphed over them. Therefore the land now belonged to Pharaoh. As for the people of the fields, he moved them to cities from one end of the Egyptian border to the other. Only the land of the priests he did not buy, because the priests had a portion assigned to them by Pharaoh. They did eat their portion that Pharaoh gave them. Therefore they did not sell their lands. Now Joseph spoke to the people, saying, 'This day I have purchased you and your land for Pharaoh. Now here is seed for you, and you will be able to sow in the land.' When your seed increases, you will give a fifth of it to Pharaoh, and 4 parts will be your own. 4 parts will be for your own food to feed them of your households, and to sow seed in the field. They responded, saying, Because you have saved our lives, we will be Pharaoh's servants. But let us find favor and acceptance in the sight of the Lord of the land. And to this day it is a law that Joseph made over the land of Egypt that Pharaoh will have the 5th part, except for the land of the priests, which does not belong to Pharaoh. Now Jacob lived in the land of Egypt, in the country of Goshen. He and his household had possessions, and they and their possessions grew and multiplied greatly. Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years. The complete age of Jacob was 147 years. As the time drew near for Jacob to die, he called for his son Joseph. And Jacob spoke to his son Joseph, saying, Now if I have found favor and acceptance in your sight, put your hand on top of my thigh, and I pray that you will deal truthfully and kindly with me. I pray that you do not bury me in Egypt. You will carry me out of Egypt and bury me in the burying place of my father and his father. Joseph responded, saying, I will do as you have requested. And Jacob responded, saying, Take an oath to me. So Joseph took an oath to honor his father Jacob. Then Jacob stretched himself out upon the bed. After these things, someone told Joseph that his father Jacob had become very sick. So Joseph took his 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim, with him. Someone told Jacob that his son Joseph was coming to him. So Jacob encouraged himself and strengthened himself as he sat upon his bed. Jacob spoke to Joseph, saying, The Almighty has observed me. He has given his attention to me. He has considered and approved of me. He has respected me and looked upon me with joy. In the sight of others, he has provided for me. The Almighty has caused me to be congratulated, praised, and adored in the sight of others. In the land of Canaan, outside the city of Luz, at Bayeth Shaddai, in a vision the Almighty appeared to me. He presented himself and looked at me in my face. Then he caused me to foresee. In the vision he promised me. He spoke to me, saying, I will make you fruitful, and I will multiply you to become numerous. I will make a multitude of people come from you. I will give this land to your children, to your children's children, to your children's posterity, and of your posterity, to your descendants who are of moral quality, and of them to a practitioner of righteousness. I will give this land to them for an everlasting possession. Now, for Reuben and Simeon, your 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, who were born to you in the land of Egypt before I came, are mine. Indeed, for Reuben and Simeon, your 2 sons are now mine. There is an issue of them being born after you left your native country. Nevertheless, they are of my lineage. Therefore they will be chosen and summoned with the same name as their brethren in their inheritance. As for me, when I came from Padan, as we were journeying in the land of Canaan, Rachel died beside me when there was but a little ways to get to Ephrath. She lived according to our customs. She died living according to our customs. Then Jacob looked at Joseph's sons and asked, Who are these? And Joseph responded to his father, saying, They are my sons, whom the Almighty has given me in this place. Jacob spoke, saying, I pray that you bring them to me, and I will bless them to be praised and adored. Now the eyes of Jacob were weak and dim from old age, therefore he could not see well. Joseph embraced and kissed his sons, then brought them near to his father Jacob. Jacob spoke to Joseph, saying, I did not think I would see your face again, but look and see. The Almighty has showed me your children also. Joseph brought them out from between his knees, and then bowed himself with his face toward the earth. With Ephraim in Joseph's right hand, toward Jacob's left hand, with Manasseh and Joseph's left hand toward Jacob's right hand. Joseph brought them near to his father Jacob. Wittingly guiding his hands, Jacob stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head. Ephraim was the younger of Joseph's two sons. Now Jacob stretched out his left hand and laid it upon Manasseh's head. Manasseh was Joseph's firstborn. Jacob blessed Joseph and spoke to him, saying, "The Almighty, the All-Supreme Being, the All-Supreme Ruler, whose ways my grandfather Abraham and my father Isaac did live according to, and who is the same All-Supreme Ruler that has fed me all my long life to this day. The Almighty, who redeemed me from all evil, bless these two young boys, to be congratulated, praised, and adored. Let my name be named unto them. Let the name of my grandfather Abraham, and let the name of my father Isaac be named unto them. Let them grow to become numerous. Let them grow into a multitude of people that live upon the earth." When Joseph saw that his father's right hand was upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. So Joseph held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head and put it upon Manasseh's head. But Joseph spoke to his father, saying, "Not so, father. Put your right hand upon the head of my firstborn." But Jacob refused, saying, "I know it, my son, I know it. Your firstborn will become a multitude of people also. He will be great, truly. But his younger brother will be greater than he, and his offspring will become a multitude of people and a multitude of nations." Jacob blessed them that day, saying, "Joined to you, Joseph, the house of Jacob will be blessed." Then Jacob put Ephraim before Manasseh. Jacob spoke to Joseph, saying, "I am dying, but the Almighty will be with you, and he will bring you back to the land of your fathers. Moreover, I have given you one portion above your brethren. I am giving you that which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword and my bow." Then Jacob summoned all his sons. He summoned all them to talk to them. He spoke to them, saying, "Gather yourselves together to me so I can tell you the future. Assemble yourselves to me so I can tell you what will happen to your descendants at the end time. I will tell you what will happen to the remnant of your people at the end of the whole age. In the day of trouble, in the day of troubled weather, at the last event, for the final issue, I will tell you what will be caused to happen, and the reward that the Almighty will give the residue of your descendants. Now gather yourselves together and listen with interest. You sons of Jacob, pay attention to your father. Give your ears to listen to your father Jacob." Then Jacob spoke to them, saying, "The Almighty, the All-Supreme Being, the All-Supreme Ruler, the Creator of all things, has observed me. He has given his attention to me. He has considered and approved of me. He has respected me and looked upon me with joy. In the sight of others, the Almighty has provided abundantly for me. The Almighty has caused me to be congratulated, praised, and adored in the sight of others. In the land of Canaan, outside the city of Luz, at Bayith Shaddai, in a vision the Almighty appeared to me. He presented himself to me and looked at me in my face. Then he caused me to foresee. In the vision he promised me. He spoke to me, saying, I will make you fruitful, and I will multiply you to become numerous. I will make a multitude of people come from you. I will give this land to your children, to your children's children, to your children's posterity, and of your posterity to your descendants who are of moral quality, and with them to a practitioner of righteousness. I will give this land to them for an everlasting possession. At Penuel, the angel of the Elohim declared unto me. He promised me the reputation, the authority, the character, the glory, the honor, and the name of Israel. Then that angel of the Elohim congratulated me and praised me in adoration. Reuben, you are my firstborn. of man and woman, you are my eldest son. You are powerful as the Elohim. You have strength as those angels who are of man and human of Behemoth. You have the ability to change as the chameleon, but you are of my strength and my health. In order and rank, you are the first from my ability to produce wealth and success. You have accepted the excellency of being superior. You have accepted the excellency of being proud in character. Therefore you are left with self-rising dignity and self-exaltation. You will remain in excellence of superiority, and you will rest with those that come up of animals, who have plenty, who are harsh, fierce, strong, and greedy for power. You lust recklessly. Your speech is of froth, therefore your talk is worthless. You have wasted your semen, therefore you are as piss that washes away with the water. You are dangerous, violent, and unstable. You went into your father's bedchamber and laid down on his bed and had sexual contact. You have disrespected the reputation and authority of the covenant that comes from the Almighty. You have violated the honor of the covenant and the commandment that comes from the Almighty. You have polluted your father's bed by having sex with his wife. Then you went upon your father's couch and lay down on his couch and had sexual contact with his wife. You have treated the Almighty's covenant and commandment as a common thing. You have ritually polluted yourself and dishonored the commandment and the covenant. You will not be given the abundance saved over for the remnant of your father's family. You have killed your remnant's inheritance, and it will not be restored. You will not have a remnant of people saved over. You will not have a remnant of people left over to remain and excel. Simeon and Levi are brothers that have dubious morals that cannot be relied on. In their habitations there is equipment for hunting and war. In their habitations there are utensils, tools, music, and objects for hunting and war. In their habitations there are stabbing swords and stabbing devices. They have instruments of the oppressor, instruments of cruelty and violence in their habitations. They have equipment and instruments for doing wrong and dealing violently. My soul is a living being within the blood of my body, and is a ghost with an activity of mind and activity of will. My soul is a living being within the blood of my body, and is with emotions, appetites, passions, and characteristics similar to a beast, an animal, or creature. My mind or body has not desired to be brought into their secret council, nor their intimate sessions with the Elohim. Therefore, do not go into their secret circle of friends. Do not desire nor be brought into their assemblies for evil counsel that are of war, invasion, and their religion of returning exiles. My tablets of inscription is not the same as theirs. The weight of my glory, my dignity, my reputation, my reverence, and my abundance is not the same as theirs. This is the end of part 21 of my video series titled The Book of Genesis, Unsealed and Untold, and covers my manuscript titled The Almighty, the Beginning, His Creation of Mankind, His Promise to Judge Mankind, His War against the Elohim, His New World and His Order. I am Shiloh, the last scribe for the house of Jacob. Watch my videos, follow me, and discover the recorded truth about the Almighty, His power, His glory, His honor, His reputation, His experiences with, and His message to all the individual species of persons on the earth.